Hello everyone, this is Justin Odell. I'm going to be doing Module 4 and explaining some accessibility with PowerPoint and a website called Seesaw that I use in my classroom. There are some restrictions on my school laptop that I'm using now, and I'm unable to download screencast on here, so I'm using QuickTime Player for this, and I am not able to purchase PowerPoint on my other home laptop, so I'm going to be doing it through here. First thing I want to talk about is using the accessibility PDF that we were supposed to look at through this module. I'm in 3A right now. I'm going to talk about the outline view first. So outline view, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go on my screen. I'm going to go to view, outline view, and through here you can see that I have my steps, directions in order, and I'm trying to keep it nice and organized throughout here, making sure it flows and students can follow along easy and see what they're supposed to be doing throughout this perimeter project or perimeter activity they're supposed to be doing in class. So the first thing I made sure the outline view was nice and neat. The bolded headers or headings were there so students can tell what the main idea of each slide is. Next thing I'm going to talk about is slide layout. So if I go through my slides, I feel like they're pretty organized and in flow with the lesson. There's vocab first, some relatable examples. That goes into a video to review. Then they have their activity and an extension activity, and after the exploration activity using math journals. So I think the slide layout is in order and it flows throughout the lesson. The reading order. So I made sure when I was doing my reading order that I went to Tools, check Accessibility, and I had an error on missing object description. It looks like for slide 7, and warnings. I'm missing audio or video subtitles. So I was still trying to figure this out, and I had some trouble with it, so it's neat that I was able to experience this. So next time I do a presentation like this, and I have students that need maybe a screen reader or some other accessibility tools, I can go ahead and correct that. So it was a good experience to go through this and see those errors. I never kind of saw this side of PowerPoint before, and it was neat to go through and explore on here. So I did have some errors in here, but if I go through and I look through my reading order, I have to make sure everything is correct. So if I go to the arrange, select pane, I tried to rearrange everything so it goes from top to bottom, starting with the media first, so it goes first, then it reads from top all the way down to the bottom. And I went through each slide and arranged it in order so it would read the correct way for students so they can follow along easy. Images. So any images I had on this slide, I formatted them so they're bigger, and I explained with my voice what the pictures entailed of and what details were in the pictures and what the point of the pictures were relating to the lesson. I also include some clip art in here to show it's a video. And when you go through the slides, if I clicked on slideshow and present, these videos would play automatically. And there's also a big link here, so it would start automatically once you got to the slide. Bulleted list. So if I go back to my view for outline, and I look through here, I have a bunch of bulleted lists. I did it for every slide that had notes on it, and I made sure they're in order and they're all bulleted so students can follow along easy. Any links I made accessible, except the one link was I was having trouble making it work off the slideshow with this perimeter video, but now it works when I clicked on it for students to use. And then color, I felt like my color contrast was reasonable with this. It was a darker background, an orangish darker color, and the black color for the heading, so I used white on that so students can see it easy and be able to read my PowerPoint slides easier. There's also, I have links out to media from here because it's important, so it takes you to another area and it works the links so they can watch the videos without any technological issues, which sometimes you run into those, and working through the links and trying to get that figured out was tough at first, but I got that to work. And then I just had trouble with the caption aspect of it, so I'm still working on that and trying to really explore the caption side of the videos to getting it work working correctly because I'm not really familiar with these type of features doing this the first time. So overall, tried to make it as accessible as possible. I included pictures on any activities that required our main lesson so they can have an idea what they're using. And I tried to keep everything in an order that made sense with the lesson I was trying to teach. Also, I included timers for any kids with IEPs for reading Chapter 8 from the module. Some kids with IEPs might need some extra time on assignments, and it's required by the teachers to follow all those accommodations by law in the IEPs, so making sure you have stuff accommodated for IEPs as well. Extra time, meeting with the student in class, and making sure they're understanding the slides and going over the slides, making sure they're able to access everything, and just trying to keep up with all those things. So accommodating for PowerPoint was a really cool experience, and I was able to see a lot of good features. Moving on, I'm going to go to Seesaw. Now I made a fake account for Seesaw. I use Seesaw in class, so I'm just going to go through some features you can use. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the class journal. So say I wanted to comment on this sample student. They were in my class. I would go down to the bottom, hit comment, and I can leave some voice recordings for them to listen to and comment on the assignment they were doing. Now they're just here to read right now, so you can also make assignments where audio can come through the main page so students can easily access what you're trying to teach them and play it off the main page. So that was one cool feature I thought was good, that Seesaw has a lot of voice options where you can go ahead and add those in there. Now if I go to activities and I click add response, say I want to do this worksheet, I'm a student in class. Now from the teacher standpoint, when I go to add response here, as the sample student, okay, I can add my response on to the worksheet, and I can also view instructions, and I can do the worksheet here and complete it. So I'm going to play the instructions here on the geometry math worksheet, so students are able to access this and play the instructions through here. Geometry math worksheet. Click on the assignment below. Use the pen feature to answer the questions. When finished, make sure you write your name, double check your work, and submit the assignment to me. Okay, so I played directions so students are able to listen to directions and follow along on what they're supposed to be doing. So it's not just in words or bullet points, it's also in audio recording. So I tried to make it accessible with headings and voice compatibility with assignments. Now I made a mistake on posting one of these assignments, so I'm going to go in real quick. I'm going to edit the activity. I'm going to fix this real quick. So I'm going to upload, I added it into the wrong section. So just give me a second as I go ahead and upload one of these assignments onto here that I had up there. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in. Okay, so now from this standpoint, I'm going to just show you some of the really cool features from a student standpoint of how to use features in here that can be helpful with accessibility. So a couple cool things is background color. I could change the background color to a darker color to make it easier to read for me. I can do a voice recording and voice record my responses. I can also use photographs to show examples with my work. And I can also add text in here with the text box option. And there's also a voice option through here. And there's actually an accessibility option where you can make this accessible to screen readers as well, so they can kind of read through their answers and read through what they're trying to do in the worksheet. So I thought there was a lot of cool accessibility options, and Seesaw is one of those cool platforms that does that very well. So they're able to use accessibility, and I think it makes a difference with other platforms. And I got to use Seesaw a lot this year, so it's cool using this assignment to see some of those standpoints. There's also a option where you can zoom in on stuff, so I can hit this plus sign. I can keep hitting it to zoom in on my assignment and move this around up here to go to different questions and see the questions a little better. Maybe I was having trouble seeing the shapes, then I could zoom in and see how many sides they have. So some of these cool features on here with accessibility makes it really great for the students to use these features and then be able to share their learning in unique ways, and then teachers on the other end making sure they're making these assignments accessible and finding different ways. Now, Seesaw doesn't have all the accessibility options, especially as a web platform. So working on making sure videos are captioned when they click on them if you put them in assignments. Making sure the colors are good with the background, which I think over here they are pretty good in these assignments. When I post it on the main page, if I go back here, I can see the color. It's black on white and it's organized. It has the bullet points there and it has numbered list on what the students are assigned to do. So overall, it does have a lot of nice ways to make it clear to the students on what is the objective, what they're supposed to be doing. But there also, I think, could be some more features based off the web accessibility guidelines that I see on the PDF we got, that on slide 2A, that we can use to even boost Seesaw to even more accessibility. And that would come from maybe adding assignments inside the platform and making your own accessibility your own way using the platform, which I think is cool. You can make your own assignments when you add here and add accessibility on your own from what you learn. So the impact this made for me was realizing that these different platforms have different ways to be accessible, and it was cool to actually go through and explore, because if you're not used to it, it could be really difficult, it could be really challenging, especially in the PowerPoint slides. I had some trouble there if I bring that back up with some things in here, but it was a good experience to reflect on, and it's good to, I wrote down some notes to ask questions later on and trying to see, how can I improve the accessibility on some of these features in both platforms.